Hey guys, David here. I had a couple updates I want to let you guys know about on stuff going on in my life, and also I had a question come in, which has been a while. They were coming in steadily, then they just stopped, so I'm trying to get that going again. But the question I had, I'll answer the question first, and then I'll get into the updates. But Stephanie, one of my old Silverleafers, my Leaf family. For those of you that don't know, Silverleaf is it was a call center in Arlington that I used to work at, I guess about 10 years ago. Making me sound old. That's crazy, it's been 10 years. But there's a couple people I'm still in contact with Silverleaf and whatnot. We just started a group to reminisce about memories and ideas and all kinds of stuff. And Stephanie found me, and she saw the page, and she commented a question, and that one was, what is the one thing that I need help with the most? Just to kind of give you an idea of what's going on right now, at a conference for work. I'm in Topeka, a couple hours away, and I have no equipment. I have no special tools or anything. I guess I have a loofah on a stick. That's really the only thing for in the shower to reach my back and my hair and stuff. But if I had to say one thing that I needed help with the most, I can shave, I can shower, I can put my deodorant on, but I'm very particular about my hair. So when I'm out of town, as you can see, it's just no gel, just down flat, which it's okay, I can pull it off. But I usually do my hair, and the style that I like, it's very hard to do it because normally I get a towel on the ground, I squirt gel on it, and then I just rub my head on and get it all nice and lathered up, and it's usually just sticking up in kind of the messy look, which I did for a while. But I like to do it differently now. If nobody's around, that's what I'll resort back to. But Day, my girl, she helps me out a lot. Well, I won't say a lot. I'm more lazy than it is her helping me. But she helps me do my hair when I really want it done. That's the one thing. And the style that I like is I kind of part it, and I stack my bangs a little bit and part it. And it's hard to do that without having hands or some kind of special device. And I'm sure there's some kind of special device out there. I just haven't found it, nor have I really looked for one because it's not that big of a deal to me. I try and go. I try and figure out ways to do things with what I got. I'm not a big fan of adaptive tools or having a PA with me, which is a personal assistant. I never know I'm going to be at. I'm in a hotel room here I was here last night, I'm here for tonight, and then I leave tomorrow. But I want to make sure that I can take care of myself no matter where I'm going to be at, because I don't want to have to rely on somebody, depend on somebody else, because something may happen for whatever reason where they couldn't be there, or carrying around adaptive equipment. That's just one more thing. I got my laptop and my clothes and stuff that's heavy enough as it is, so I try and travel light. So I just try and I don't try, I do figure out ways that certain routines that I do to take care of myself. As far as cooking and stuff, at home, Day does all the cooking. I can throw a pizza in the oven. I can make ramen noodles. I can cook your bachelor items, microwavable dinners, TV dinners, all that good stuff. But I'm not going to sit here and say I can't cook. I've never tried to cook. I've never been in a place where, when I'm on my own, if I'm not living with a roommate or a spouse or whatnot, I've always just went the easy route and did the TV dinners or ramen noodles or Hungry Man's or pizzas or things that could be cooked in the oven or the microwave. So I'm sure if I needed to or really wanted to cook, I can figure out a way how. I just have not gotten to that point yet. So back to the question, if I had to say one thing that I needed help with the most, I'd say doing my hair. Maybe if I think more into it, I can probably find something else, but for now, that's all I can come up with. But good question, Steph. Thanks for kind of starting this back up. I hope all is well with you and your family. But the updates that I have, I think in the last video, I just started my new job with Independent Connection. I was working at Walmart for the previous 2 years, which was a great job. Nothing bad to say about Walmart. I got bored with it. I was sitting on a stool talking to people all day, every day, which I'm a people person. I can talk to people, but I didn't feel like I was meeting my potential for what I could do out there. So I'm at Independent Connection Inc. now. We advocate for people with disabilities. We connect them with resources in Salina, Kansas. Independent Connection is a center for independent living. There is 12 different CILs throughout Kansas, and there's all kinds of them throughout the nation. But I cover Salina. So when someone comes in with a disability, we don't ask for documentation or anything from a doctor. We just take your word for it. And I've learned working here, there's so many different disabilities out there. It's insane. So we just connect them with resources, and we also help with self-advocacy because some people don't really have a voice for themselves, or because they're disabled, they've been treated some type of way in the past where they're scared to reach out to people or figure out new resources because they think the same thing's going to happen again, where people won't take them serious, or people will have some kind of assumption about them where they won't be treated fairly. So we do support self-advocacy, and we do anything we can to be that person for them, to help them get back into a rhythm in order to be able to do that, because we don't want people to depend on us for helping them with whatever goals they have. We want to be able to teach them on how to go out and find resources, or to go out and speak up for themselves and to get things done themselves. We'll help them out any way we can at first, but we kind of strive, take baby steps to do it on their own. So I'm really liking it a lot. As I said, I'm at a conference right now in Topeka. I get to go to conferences and learn about all the different things there are out there: Medicaid, Medicare, housing, transportation, all kinds of different stuff. So I feel like I may have found a job that I do meet the potential of. So I do like it a lot. And then, as most of you guys already know, on the side I do motivational speaking. I've been doing that for the last going on 2 years now. My next event is going to be for the city of Salina. I'm doing their opening keynote for, they call it an in-service training day. It's for city officials, city employees. They come in and they have a training day. There's a keynote that opens it, and then they have different workshops throughout the day. And then I think we have lunch somewhere in between there. But I'm pretty excited about it. That's my first big one. I've had a couple small ones in the past, but this is the first decent sized one where we're going to have a big turnout, and I'm really excited about it. And if you're wondering, I've had a lot of new followers since the last video, but I do motivational speaking. I don't have hands, should I say. I do have my nubs, which I don't know what I would do without. I do have my legs on right now, my prosthetics. I'll give you a little view of it if I can flip my camera around. Okay, let's do it this way. My left leg's my right leg. This one goes all the way up. This one goes to my knee. And then I'm not even going to go to explaining what's under there because I've tried it. All it does is confuse people because it's not just stumps. I actually have feet on the end of my legs, which I use a lot still today. But what I try and stress in my message, the only one I have down right now is my life story. It's a powerful one, but I do need to break it down in different sections, so I have different keynotes or workshops that I could utilize. But the main message from my life story is, yes, I was born this way. I didn't lose my limbs in the war or some midlife crisis. But that's not to say it may not be people's limbs, but majority of the population, people go through certain instances in their life where they don't know how they're ever going to be able to do what they used to do. And I think I'm a pretty good example of someone, who, I don't have my limbs, but I'm perfectly happy, have a family, I live like anybody else. And I'm not afraid to get out there and tell people about it. And I guess what I hope people receive out of that is to not only, do anything you can to reach your dreams, make dreams possible, but also it could always be worse. Whatever you're going through, it could always be worse. And I think most importantly, no matter what you're going through in life, you can still do whatever you want. Yeah, you might have to figure out new ways to do whatever it is you're wanting to do, but I like to say I don't have hands and legs in a world designed for people that do have hands and legs. And I figured out a way to do things in my own way where, like I said earlier, I can fully take care of myself. I have a job. I have a kid on the way who's due actually in 2 weeks. So, not to mention I have 3 kids at the house who I consider my own. They're Dave's kids, specifically, but I consider them my own. You know, 2 of the boys, they call me dad. I am their dad. I'm the only dad they've ever had in their life, and I love them to death. But like I said, the point of that is saying you can do anything you want in life. You just have the want. You have to have the want and the willingness in order to do it, and not be scared. Don't live in fear. You know, fear consumed my life for almost a decade in my 20s, and I did nothing. But when you overcome those fears and you get out in the world and you become a productive member in society, doors open and opportunities come up that you would have never thought of. So it's definitely worth it. So that's why I like to think my life story can help a lot of people in order to make those things a reality for themselves. I know I'm not going to help everybody, but if I can help that one person, that's all my goal is. So yeah. The only other update I have is I mentioned me driving before. It's been a process. I have never been one to find resources that make my life easier. I've kind of always just learned on the fly how to do things on my own, like I've said before. But now that I'm working at a place that's what we specialize in is resources, I got with vocational rehab. And because I have to have modification on my vehicle to steer, I've done that. I've driven in the past. I know there's a couple people that can attest to that. Sean, if you're watching this, or Heath, if you're watching this, or even Church, if you're watching this, I've had a little bit of fun driving illegally without a license just to see what I can do and have a little bit of freedom. I'm not proud of it doing it illegally, but it's been done. But in order to do it legally and get a driver's license, I have to go to a driving assessment, and then I'm going to have training hours, having those modifications on a vehicle, getting trained on how to use them and get on the road without being a danger to myself or others. So the assessment itself is $500. The training hours, I have to have 8 of them at least, and they're $90 an hour. So I'm doing a lot better than I used to, but I'm not balling like that where I can just shell out $1,000 to learn how to drive. So I got with Voc Rehab, and they're awesome people. They do more than I assumed they were going to meet the minimum. Here's your driving assessment money, here's your training hours, good luck. But they go above and beyond on just that. My driving assessment is actually on the 25th, which I believe is next Wednesday, and we're going to sit down and figure out what modifications I'm going to have. I'm not thoroughly educated in that field, but I do have my ideas on what I'll have to have. But we're going to dive in and see what all is out there in the modifications world and see what's going to fit me best. They order all that for a car they have on site, which I'll then schedule training, come back and do the 9 hours training with them to make sure that that's what's going to work, that I'm comfortable with it, and that's the route that I want to go with. And then they'll prescribe the parts to me, and I'll take it to a dealer in Salina where I live, and they'll install the modifications. But what I was saying on how they go above and beyond, I live in Salina. The assessment is driving rehabilitation is what they're called. They're in Overland Park, right outside of Kansas City. So that's about a 3-hour drive from Salina. So they're not only paying for modifications, but they're paying for a hotel for us to drive down there, do the assessment, and come back the next day. And then when I do my training hours, since I do live out of town, we're going to try and do them 3 or 4 days consecutively, which they'll pay for the hotel, they'll pay for the food, they'll pay for gas mileage, they pay for everything. So they're really good people. I think this is going to work out. I cannot wait. It's been a long time coming. I guess, Steph, that kind of goes with the question you had, is what I need help with. I mean, it's not something I would think of it in that kind of way, but now that I'm thinking of it now, I've always had to depend on people taking me here, taking me there, or depend on taxis or transportation services for disabled people. And it can be a pain because you have to make schedules. You can't go on your own. Well, you can go on your own schedule, but if plans change, which in my life that's an all the time thing, I just don't like depending on people, having to wait around for a cab, or if I'm having to utilize a resource for disabled people, you have to plan a couple days ahead of time on what you're doing 3 days later and stick with that, or you have to reschedule it, and it's just a bunch of stuff that I don't feel like going through. I've gone through it for the last, I'm 32 now, so for the last 16, 17 years, and I'm done with it. So I'm really excited about driving. That's going to be another sense of freedom for me that I've wanted since I was 14 years old. So I cannot wait. And how did I do it? I did a little researching on my own, but working at just get in touch with people who know what they're talking about. Google people, with whatever field you're trying to go with. Just Google people and reach out, make connections, and eventually you'll find somebody that can steer you in the right direction. Networking is very important, especially with my speaking life. For the last 2 years, I've learned that, and now with my independent connection life, I'm learning that as well. So I hope that helped you out, Stephanie. Hope that answered your question somewhat. But for my new followers, I had a thing where when I first started this page where I took questions on either mindset questions on what I think about certain things, or what's going through my mind in certain situations, or how I do handle physical situations like typing or writing, eating, dressing, shaving, the normal everyday life stuff. And I do have a lot of videos on here answering some of those, so y'all can check those out. But if there's any questions that I have not yet answered, feel free to put them on there. And I am going to post this on YouTube, on my social media platforms. So YouTube, my channel is David Powell Speaking. Twitter is at allthumbs2004. Facebook is the same, allthumbs2004. That's my speaking page. I have my personal page, David Powell. I have my Instagram, which is at allthumbs2004. My email is at allthumbs2004@gmail.com. My website is www.davidpowellspeaking.com. For speaking opportunities, for reaching out to me, my website is one way, and also my Facebook page is another way, or even my Twitter page. It doesn't matter. I'm on my social media all the time. Can't live without my phone. Don't know how people survived without one. But hope this helped you out, guys. If you have any more questions, let me know, and I will try and be more predominant with videos with the more questions I get. Thanks, guys. Have a good one.